Today we're going after the Modern Warfare Remastered Platinum Trophy. I've already played this game back in 2019, so I already had 24 of the 51 trophies under my belt. But that was then, and this is now. And now is that which is after then, but before later, and only slightly after. So yeah, I only had 27 trophies to get, which mostly consisted of one veteran playthrough, and luckily the rest would be miscellaneous trophies like collecting all the enemy intels and missable trophies like Your Show Sucks. So I guess let's get into it. Starting off on FMG, there weren't any trophies to get here since I already took care of it back in 2019, but I still went ahead and brushed off my old FPS skills and tried to run the course as best as I could to see if I could beat my old score, which is 13 seconds by the way.
Hit the targets! Targets! Position 5, go! Hit the target! Hit the targets! Final, hit the targets! Take the door! Hit the target! Final, go! Hit the targets! Position 2, go! Hit the targets! Flashbang through the door! Position 4! Hit the targets! Position 5, go! Hit the targets! 6, go! Flashbang through the door! Hit the targets! Final position, go! Sprint to the finish!
That's a new squadron record, Soap. Not bad at all.
It was here I also decided that I was going to go for as many reasonably obtainable trophies throughout the veteran playthrough as I could, meaning that not only was I going to beat the mission on veteran, I would also be collecting enemy intels and any missable trophies along the way. And let me tell you, sometimes that led to missions being far more frustrating than usual. So, with that out of the way, let's move on to Crew Expendable. This mission wasn't too bad, as it was just us and Price infiltrating a ship out in the ocean. I managed to get the 3 of a kind trophy for taking down 3 enemies in a row with just a knife. After barely making it out alive, I earned the trophy The Package for completing the mission on Veteran. The next mission doesn't really count towards anything as far as like the Platinum goes. It's just us playing as the captured president of the Middle East, and is really only here to show how dangerous the first major bad guy, Al-Assad, is.
The loyalists are expecting us half a click to the north. Move out.
Once again, this mission actually wasn't that bad as far as difficulty goes. Yeah, I died a few times throughout, but it wasn't anything rage-inducing. That comes later. In this mission, we have to save Nikolai, who's looking a bit different than the last time I saw him. We make Arnold proud by getting to the chopper, where Nikolai basically says the next mission is about to play is pointless, and get the trophy The Rescue for beating it on Veteran. Switching things up, we now get to play as a Marine named Jackson, who is a part of an attack squad sent to capture Al-Assad based on a lead the American forces have gotten. This mission has a missable trophy in it called Your Show Sucks, where you have to destroy every TV in the level playing Al-Assad's speech. And let me tell you, some of these TVs are pretty out of the way if you aren't actively looking for them. But not only that, this level was also a pretty big step up from the last 2 in terms of difficulty. When you get to the broadcasting center and your squad enters the giant room with all the TVs and computers, this section was hell. I died I don't know how many times in this one area because it just seemed like there was an enemy everywhere, around every single corner. But after banging my head on this wall for what felt like an eternity, we finally managed to push past it and find out that the intel that the Americans had was indeed false. Thankfully, I managed to pop the Your Show Sucks trophy as well as the Search trophy for beating it on Veteran. The next mission, The Bog, has us go to the rescue of a disabled tank and its squad, and it also has a missable trophy in it called Feel the Heat, where you have to destroy 4 enemy tanks on the overpass with the Javelin. I actually almost missed this trophy until I saw somebody say on the subtitles mention the Javelin. Thankfully, I was able to grab it quick enough, and I managed to get all 4 tanks, the last one almost getting away from me. And with that, we make it to the tank, and after fending off what felt like an ungodly amount of soldiers, we complete the mission. I like watching Platinum trophies on YouTube. It's some of my favorite content to absorb, and I've seen numerous creators get the Platinum trophy for this game. I say that to say I was very aware of the difficulty of this mission in particular, and after having done it myself, yeah, it's pretty damn tough. I had a couple of moments where I just kept dying repeatedly. The first being where you have to defend outside a house while gas breaks open a cellar door, where I have died numerous times, every single time, trying to go get in the door. And the other was the damn helicopter. This thing was a menace because of how fast it could kill you if you weren't careful. Hell, I was careful and I still died. Quick tip, by the way, if you can manage it, there is a opportunity that you can kill the gunner inside the helicopter and it will keep it from shooting at you for at least a few seconds, or at least it did when I did the playthrough. Just to give a tip for anybody who might be needing it. But I persevered and I shot that thing down with the rocket launcher they give you, and it felt so good. Easily a busted nut out of 10. The next mission, Death from Above, you get to play the legendary AC-130 mission, and it's just as fun as it was back then. Not really much to say, it just kicks ass, man. You do get the escape trophy after beating it and the last mission on Veteran, however, so that was also nice. Hunted was bad, but I expected that going in. What threw me off guard was this mission, War Pig. This was the mission that truly tested my patience because of how many enemies there were and how quick they could kill you if you weren't careful. I think it also stems from the fact that we also have a literal tank we are escorting, and the damn thing doesn't do anything for you besides kill one other tank right at the end of the level. After dying numerous Numeronia deaths, we made it to the evac point and are told that we're actually going after Al-Assad for realsies this time. We also snagged the trophy The Bog for beating this and the mission The Bog on Veteran. This mission was surprisingly easy, all things considered. I died a few times, but that was mostly because I was just trying to get to the enemy intels. After being told to fall back because dude had a literal nuke, COD timing strikes and takes down a friendly helicopter pilot named Deadly that we have to stop and save, which ultimately gets all of us killed anyway. As a matter of fact, a little trivia is that apparently originally Jackson was going to survive this mission. People did some digging in the code and found objectives in this mission like get radiation equipment or find commanding officer. But they changed it, and I'm guessing they did this to kind of like emphasize the threat that Al-Assad and later Zakhaev are. Nonetheless, still pretty iconic mission. Iconic nuke scene, just the works. Yeah, this mission can eat my asshole. This mission was genuinely tough, and I lost track of how many times I died. The whole goal is to search like a few houses, trying to find which one Al-Assad is actually hiding in. But with all the enemies littered around the level, it makes it very difficult to move around. And you're also giving a helicopter to try and like take that edge off. But the thing takes like 7 business days to recharge, so like not really. And it also doesn't help that the enemies on this level will constantly respawn until you push a house. Meaning if you try and thin out enemies before pushing, you're shit out of luck. Thankfully, after making it sure I got all the intel, I pushed through until I finally managed to beat the level like I beat my wife. So anyway, I'm glad this mission is over, and now with Zakhaev set up as the new big bad, I got the second Horseman trophy for beating it on Veteran difficulty. Next was the famous all gillied up mission, and to put it simply, this mission is still great even after all these years later. The stealth, the tension, the atmosphere, all really blend well together. This mission actually has like 2 missable trophies, one of which I got back in 2019, called Gillies in the Mist, which wants you to beat the level without alerting anyone. This time I was going for one called Man vs. Machine, which is where at the start of the level, an attack helicopter flies by and you have to take it down. Now luckily, inside the church at the start of the level, there's a pile of Stinger missiles that the game gives you, so you're not out completely to dry. But the hard part comes in where 9 out of 10 times, your first shot will miss because the chopper will just use flares. And trying to get that second shot is hell. It is hard. If the miniguns don't kill you, the missiles it fires will. As a matter of fact, I think on the final attempt I attempted to get this trophy, I just got lucky and killed it in the middle of its like flying in animation, so it couldn't like jump to using the flares when I shot it. But I mean, hey, I'll take my wins where I can get them, right? The rest of the mission goes pretty smoothly up until the part with the stray dog, because it was here I remembered I had to get a trophy called Dogs. I hate dogs. Well, you have to kill 20 dogs with a knife. So, it was here I concocted a brilliant idea. If you game in this dog, it spawns a legion of hellhounds to come after you. And at first it was pretty difficult to knife all of them. In fact, almost impossible. But eventually I evolved an evil little concocted plan where I would snipe the one that spawns them in. And then I would just kind of sit back and let Macmillan just kind of take the heat for me and like take care of the dogs that charge me. And then I would run up and knife the ones that are targeting Macmillan. This took quite a few attempts. I died numerous times, but eventually the trophy did pop and I was finally able to move on and finish the level. Remember at the start of the video when I said there were two missions in particular with infamous reputations? Well, this is one of them. To start, we get the missable trophy Time Paradox, where after my incredible display of sniping skills to kill Zakhaev, you also have to kill Makarov sitting in one of these other jeeps with sniping skills so incredible I had your mother quivering. Ladies, please, one at a time. The end section right here, however, is where all the infamy comes from when you ask people about this mission. This section has you fend off endless waves of enemies until the chopper can get there. No bullshit, no jokes. This part was hard, really hard. I died a lot in this section, trying different points, different weapons, trying to hold out, but nothing really seemed to work until a mixture of luck and cheese came into play. You see, to the right of the Ferris wheel is a stage for some bumper cars, and I figured the enemies couldn't jump over the fences down at the end of the stage, so I camped out in the back corner so I could just snipe and fend off any enemies that try to push forward or push onto the Ferris wheel. Now, the enemies can walk onto the stage, so at any point they could just try to bum rush me while I'm hiding at the back of the stage. But I guess RNGesus decided to give me a pass, as none of them ever tried this. I did die one time getting 2 Macmillan to extract, but after that I repeated the same strategy and I finally completed the mission, earning me the trophy, The Shot. Yeah, wow, another mission that just really boiled my blood. Fun fact, I had to replay this mission 3 times. This mission has 2 missable trophies called Man in the High Tower and Fly Swatter. For Man in the High Tower, you have to use the cache of RPGs in the church tower at the start of the mission, which I completely ignored because I forgot about the trophy and had to restart. Thankfully, the second time around, I managed to grab it, but then I made it halfway through the level before realizing I had forgotten about the second missable trophy, Fly Swatter, which asks you to destroy 8 helicopters in this level. Now, near the start, when you have to use the Gatling gun, 5 of them will spawn in, and you can kill those fairly quickly. But later on, halfway through the level, when you retreat back to the barn, 3 more will spawn in, and unless you either save the RPG ammo from the church tower, or picked up the RPG set at the gate, at the gate entrance to the field at the barn, there's no chance. You'll have no chance in killing them. So guess what happened? Yep, I forgot the RPG sitting along the fence, and when I tried to restart the checkpoint, it was too far, and they fly away before I could reach them. So yeah, there's another mission restart, but then guess what? I forgot to kill one of the helicopters with the Gatling gun, and the checkpoint was too far along, so I had to restart again. Oh, what the fuck. Anyway, after 3 whole-ass restarts of this level, I finally managed to beat it. Thankfully, this mission was pretty straightforward and easy, albeit a little pointless, as we try to capture Zakhaev's son with less than optimal results. But at least we got the 3rd Horseman trophy for beating it, and heat on Veteran. With Zakhaev issuing a warning to all US and British troops to leave Russia, we finally figured out where he's hiding and decided to track him down. After Griggs decides to land at Lazy Lakes instead of Tilted Towers, like we all agreed, we rescued him and proceed to get into a big firefight in an old vehicle depot. Nothing special here. I died a few times to enemies on the roof, and this one asshole just hiding outside the gate for some reason. But I digress. Afterwards, we group up with an American sniper team, but I guess Zakhaev doesn't like being put in timeout, as the mission ends with him launching 2 missiles at the United States. Now that the whole squad's online, we make a push into the military base Zakhaev is using. This first part of the mission is just trying to get past the fence and into the shipping containers was really irritating because of the amount of enemy soldiers the game throws your way at the start. Then you have to smoke an enemy BTR, I think that's what they were called, to run up and plant some C4 on it to explode and move up the level. Looking back at it, I do think it was pretty clever of Infinity Ward to have you do this at the start, so you kind of get an idea of like what you're doing with the tanks that come at the end of the level. So kudos to old Infinity Ward, I guess. I died a few times trying to push the point because God knows no one else is going to, until we breached the fence leading to the missile yard where Price wants us to destroy the 2 tanks patrolling the area, along with a metric ton of enemy soldiers. Fun fact though, you can actually find RPGs laying around if you don't want to risk trying to get close to the tanks, but because I'm a Giga gamer, I use the smoke and C4 method. The smokes actually do a pretty good job of keeping the enemies from hitting you, even on veteran, so a few well-placed smokes and this section was done in no time. The same could not be said for this mission. This whole level is pretty much one long-ass hallway, or a set of other shorter hallways with the occasional large room to break up the monotony. So there's very little cover if you get ambushed by an enemy you either didn't see or didn't kill before you pushed on. Oh, and there's a timer ticking down as well. You know, just for the hell of it, I guess. The absolute worst part of this level is this part right here, where you get a checkpoint and get told Zakhaev is pretty much going to launch everything he has. The main forward hallway is blocked off, so you have to take a left or right path. But the problem is that no matter which one you choose, there's 1 or 2 people on the other path that are going to gun you down immediately, unless you get lucky and can chuck a flashbang far enough to stun them long enough to get to cover. But wait, there's more, because once you get inside one of the rooms, there's at least 2 enemy soldiers that will either shoot you or rush you down. And considering there's no cover beyond the missile sitting in the very middle of the room, you're pretty much screwed. This is another section of the game I just completely lost track of how many times I died trying to get through it. But by some miracle of RNGesus, I finally pushed through. Praise you, RNGesus. The good news, though, is that it's pretty much the end of the difficult part of this mission, as breaching into the war room and killing all the soldiers inside wasn't actually that bad. Probably because Infinity Ward said, yeah, we should probably have the teammates actually help out in this part for a change. So with that, we completed the level and found out Zakhaev is actually escaping in an armed convoy. So with the trophy, the ultimatum in hand for beating the last 3 missions on veteran, we gear up for one final mission in the game. Finally, we engaged in an epic car chase to take down the big bad man himself, for realsies this time. Other than the severe lack of cover for when the enemies pull up next to you and start shooting at you, this level is pretty straightforward and not that difficult. I do have a question, however. Has anyone actually ever hit this fucking helicopter with RPGs the game gives you? I swear to God, it feels like I'd have an easier time trying to wrestle a grizzly bear covered in honey than to hit this damn thing. Regardless, we make it to the end of the level with the very same helicopter blowing up the bridge. Go figure. We tried holding out, but a few minutes later we're also almost blown up again when the big bad Zakhaev himself shows up and sends Gaz back to the lobby. Thankfully, the good Russians that we met all the way back in the second mission of the game shows back up and distract Zaki Boy just long enough for us to end him, ending the game and acquiring the 4th Horseman trophy. However, there was still one last mission to be completed. That we will come back to later, but for right now, let's do some last minute trophy cleanup. For starters, I went back and replayed the crew expendable mission on the easiest difficulty to earn 2 trophies at once: Master Ninja and Retro Shooter. Typically, it's easier to get these 2 done at the same time because Master Ninja asks you to beat a whole level using nothing but your knife, and Retro Shooter wants you to beat a level without reloading your gun. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just do them both at the same time. Also, if you're going to sit there and say, oh, why didn't you do this on veteran, huh? No skills. I need you to know that your parents divorced because of you. Yeah, it was your fault. Next, I had to go back and replay the one-shot, one-kill mission because I completely forgot about the intels from the original playthrough, thus earning me the Eyes and Ears trophy for collecting all 30 enemy intels. Wow, that's a tongue twister right there. Next up was a trophy I was sure was going to be a grind called Weapon Master. This trophy asks you to get 1 kill with every weapon, launcher, and explosive in the game. There's no way to track this in-game, so you kind of just have to pull up a list of all the guns and kind of just check them off on a list as you go. And I was prepared for quite a grind on this, but I decided I'd cosplay as a time traveler and play the story in reverse, because, you know, why not? Also, I had looked up a list of weapons, and as it turns out, there's a weapon that only drops on the final level and nowhere else, the M60. Yeah, you see this truck that rolls up on this holdout section here at the final level? Well, if you kill the guy who gets out of the passenger door quick enough, he drops it. If you don't, he switches to another weapon, then you gotta restart the checkpoint and try again. Luckily, since I valued my mental health ever so slightly, I replayed this on Recruit and managed to get a hold of the LMG, get a kill, and boom, the trophy popped. Yeah, I know the recording is kind of scuffed and you can't see when the actual trophy pops, but I promised you it popped right here when I got the kill. And I can't begin to describe the euphoria of this trophy popping right then, despite being ready to have to grind for potentially hours. However, the happiness wouldn't last long as I realized there was one trophy left for one last mission. Ladies and gentlemen, Mile High Club, which asks you to beat the mission Mile High Club on Veteran. Mile High Club is infamous for being just insanely, ridiculously difficult on Veteran. The amount of aimbotting enemies, the extremely strict timer that tests your FPS skills, your ability to know enemy patterns and positioning, and your ability to use like flashbangs in correct spots to get the most optimal use, all culminate into a truly Herculean challenge worthy of its infamousy. I say all this to say, yeah, fuck all that, I'ma just use the Veteran glitch, earning me both the Mile High Club and the Platinum, baby. Okay. Before you go to torching in the comments or drinking your haterade for not beating this the legit way, let me speak my piece. I beat the entire campaign in one sitting, which I think was around 10 to 12-ish hours because of how many times I died throughout the missions. In the video, I went over all the miscellaneous trophies first and then the Mile High Club for the joke. But in actuality, I went straight to trying to complete it right after the campaign. So somewhere around 3 o'clock at night, and I played this one mission from 3 at night to 7:30 in the morning. I was exhausted. I was angry how many times I died and how I died until my very last attempt where I got all the way up to where you see the double doors. The hallway you turn and you see the double doors. I got to that, and then I just got gunned down by that last little enemy hiding around that corner. And then something just snapped.
Something inside of me. I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about...
I decided to use the Veteran glitch, and if you don't know how this glitch works, I'm sure you can find it down in the comments section. Am I sorry I did it? Yeah, maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I'll like go back and try to beat it legit. You know, really prove my mettle and show that I like really, truly deserve this Platinum trophy. Nah, fuck it.